Yo, what's up? Welcome to the show. Okay, so I would like to be a purely Let's Play channel, but let's be real here. That doesn't work in 2024 on YouTube, so I do have some commentary stuff that I had gotten on the stream back in the day already, but to kind of get back in the swing of things, I'm sure everyone recognizes this guy. Ugh. Why is my brain so dumb? Why is my voice stupid? Let's hear what he has to say about the gaming industry, shall we?
I'm not even going to make like a cutesy intro with this because this is a very serious topic. I think we're headed towards another video game crash. The severity of it, who knows? We're just starting to see the repercussions and people losing their jobs, but is it done? No. How bad will it get? I don't know, but we'll discuss it now. Skip it up and that up. So yeah, this title isn't clickbait. I don't really think it's something to joke about.
Oh no, it most certainly is. Oh man. Of course this is clickbait. What are you talking about?
When the entire industry is imploding and people...
But it is something to monetize other people's misfortune by, I don't know, fear-mongering a situation to get more views and thus more money.
People are losing their jobs left and right. I understand industries are in the business to be profitable, but when there are layoffs this vast across the entire gaming and tech industry, it's not that just the company is failing, the industry itself is retracting, and I don't think it's just COVID. I think there's other reasons too. We'll get into those, but here is the extremely long list of companies that have experienced layoffs, and this is just, what are we in, ending February?
Okay, so he's gonna run through a bunch of companies, and before we even get into that, my heart goes out to, well, that's fucking virtue signaling. Like, I hope people get on their feet. I'm not gonna harp on it too much. You know, it sucks that people lose their jobs, but like, I think it's just a bunch of tech industries following a trend of, oh no, we were underperforming and I want more money and I want my investors to have more money, so cut staff. It's not a game crash. It's not the crash of an industry, because the industry is fine.
Today is the last day of February. Anyway.
Fine, in air quotes. Well, you look at last year's sales and you're like, oh, Baldur's Gate 3. Oh, shit, what were some other... Game Rant, help me out. What were some other good... Okay, yeah, I didn't realize that. I thought that came out in 2022. The Resident Evil 4 remake, that was awesome. Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom, Spider-Man 2. I didn't play that, but I really want to, and I heard it did really good. Sea of Stars looked really good. I haven't played that either, but it looked really good. I have played this one, and this one, and they're all amazing.
This is a list I talked about from Kotaku, and this just starts it. This doesn't include other companies too.
So, hey, future me, do the chipmunk voice thing we talked about.
About those as well. Archiact, who made the people. Bossy happened to port of, and this just starts it. This doesn't include other companies too. We'll talk about those as well. Archiact, who made the VR port of Doom 3, had an unknown amount of layoffs. They don't know the exact amount of people or percentage of people. Bossa Studios, known for Surgeon Simulator and I Am Bread, has let go of 19 people. This actually happened late in 2023, but it's still part of the industry-wide trend, so I'm including it. Unity Software. What a way to come back to work after the holidays, huh, if you work there. 1,800 people were let go. That's nearly 25% of its staff. Twitch let go of 500 people. The Twitch, I will say, is because they've also made really stupid mistakes, and that's on... Well, there's a lot of companies here that made stupid mistakes that maybe it's not the...
Okay. So kinda admits that it's not a game crash. It's just a lot of companies made stupid mistakes. And I would say the big mistake was a lot of these companies were probably a little bloated and had too much staff to begin with. Maybe overestimated how much they needed, or just overspent on, you know, the employees that they had as far as like getting them trained up to speed, or I don't know the intricacies of these tech companies, but it does seem like there was a definite lack in quality And if they're cutting a bunch of people and they're not really that worried about it, then it would say they, you know, kept the ones that really matter and they cut the, you know, that probably sounds insensitive, but I would say that applied in a lot of situations. And this is also an opportunity for, okay, you were a competent game dev that got unjustly cut by a studio or a big company. Now you have severance, and now you can go start your own game company. The indie market is absolutely huge right now as far as the what is his name? The guy who made Choo Choo Charles, and the crazy amount of money that he's made off of that game. Like, it is not the end of the world to just, okay, these companies are going through layoffs. That tends to happen. Yeah. Companies tend to make some, you know, fiscal issues and some hiring mistakes, and they correct that. You know, they downsize.
A whole reason why there's layoffs, but it adds to it. Let's continue here. Playtika, a mobile game publisher, let go of 300 to 400 people. That's 10% of the company's total workforce. It continues on.
Sheesh.
Discord let go of 170 people, which is 17% of the company's total staff. Lost Boys Interactive let go of 125 people. Fun Selector let go of 3 people. They were the studio behind the game Art of Rally. PTW, used to be known as Pull to Win, let go of 45 people. They work with companies like Blizzard and Capcom. Thunderful, which worked on games like Steam World Build, Aska, and Lego Bricktales, has let go of almost a quarter of its staff, 20%, around 100 people. Another mobile game developer, Pixelberry Studios, 120 people. NetSpeak Games, 25 people. I'm not going to go into the details because it's just, as you see, the list is incredible. Wemo Games, 35 people. Dead by Daylight Dev Behavior Interactive, let go of 45 people. Where the list keeps going. CI Games let go of 10% of its staff, which is about 15 to 20 people. 31st Union, it's a 2K-owned studio, let go of about 10 people or less than 10 people. Come to us, a 2-digit number of people. So it could be 10, it could be 99. So they're not giving straightforward. They're a South Korean mobile game developer, and they're not giving flat-out numbers. Metaverse World, because everyone just loves the word meta, let go of 70 people. Again, another South Korean mobile game developer. Entry of Soft, known for Guild Wars and Lineage, laid off 70 people. Riot Games laid off 530 people. They're behind League of Legends and Valorant. That is 11% of its total workforce. One Player Mission let go of 15 people. People Can Fly, their studio, let go of 30 people. Black Forest Games, the company behind Destroy All Humans 1 and 2 remakes, which are actually pretty good.
I mean, okay, yeah, 11% is a sizable chunk, but I'm not worried about that. That doesn't make me think that they're not going to be able to make competent, capable games. Like, if anybody needs to lay off anybody, it's Nintendo, and they need to lay off everybody who is involved with Scarlet and Violet, and they need to hire the people who worked on the port for Diamond.
Let go of around 50% of its total workforce, 50 people. I wanted to say the 50% is the number you should pay attention to, 50 people, but think about that. Half of their staff, gone. 50% of its workforce.
So that's the metric that would fuck me up, and that is really eyebrow raising. Where you're like, damn, you cut half your staff. Oh fuck, you're about to go under. Oh no.
Ceases to exist now. Microsoft let go of 1,900 people across Xbox, Activision, Blizzard, and ZeniMax, and that's about 8.6% of Microsoft.
Okay, that 8.6%, 1,900 people, but that's 8.6%. 1,900 people was 8.6%. Okay, then they'll be fine. Like, they were doing that to increase their profit margins. That's what they were doing. I think this has been all but confirmed over and over and over. It's speculated on, and people keep, reiterating it, and I am reiterating it because I'm fairly certain that is what's happening.
Microsoft's gaming workforce. Recon Games, about 60 people. Little Red Dog Games, 27 people let go. Eidos Montreal, I always screw up.
Some of these names are really cute. Like, some of these game studios just have the most adorable names ever.
That name. 97 people were let go. Chief Rebel, 21 people. Sega of America, I don't really think they need an introduction. 61.
No, who's that?
People. And Nimble Giant Entertainment, 30 people were let go. Artificer, 28 people. This is all coming from Kotaku.com. If you're watching, I'll have gameplay footage here and you'll see the source.
I actually didn't, which granted, I didn't try super duper hard, but I didn't find those numbers on Kotaku. I wish he would, maybe he has the link, or the link posted. I don't know why I was stumbling over that. He does not. I don't understand why people do that. I will have his video linked below.
Airship Syndicate, 12 people. Threaks, 25 people. Crop Circle Games, 50 people. Threshold Games, 11 people. I just, you're getting the hint here. But then there,
11 people, bro. I mean, that sucks for those 11 people, but that doesn't, that's not the oh no, the industry's crashing. Oh no. That's not, like, come on, man.
there was the other bomb that was dropped yesterday that Sony was cutting 900 jobs. If you want to dig more into the layoff.
But what is the percentage of that compared to Sony's staff? Because if 1,900 was Microsoft over several different company, or you know, like subsidiaries inside that company, then like that's probably like 5% of Sony. Like 900 people, like they're fine. Like you make decisions like that all the time when you're playing simulation games, like city sims, and okay, you sacrifice the 5% efficiency here so that you can get, you know, more energy output somewhere else. Like, come on, man. That's they're reappropriating resources they didn't need to spend on those workers anymore, so they didn't.
Layoffs, the nitty gritty of it. I'll have that Kotaku article below in the description. I already think I went on. You're getting.
And I would say, I'm not a lawyer or anything, but I would say a lot of these tech company contracts are pretty snazzy. I watched me some Silicon Valley. That is very clearly a joke. I don't know. I would like to talk to someone. If anybody wants to have a conversation, that'd be cool.
You're seeing the trend here, and we're not done. Let's get into Sony's bomb they dropped yesterday that they were laying off 900 workers. Jim Ryan said there's a change in market. Yeah, no kidding. You think, Jim? Hope you enjoy your retirement. Have fun out there. But it still doesn't end. This was dropped today by EA. Yeah. They're letting go of 670 employees. This comes from Game.
That's probably the only part of this that I agree with him on, is like, yeah, the CEOs are doing it so they can be wealthier, and that's not good. So we should not engage in those companies anymore, and we should go and engage in like more indie studios and smaller creators who are not like that and won't be giant assholes to their staff.
Informer.com. Electronic Arts is laying off 5% of its workforce, which accounts for roughly 670 employees. CEO Andrew Wilson issued a company-wide letter informing staff of the publisher's restructuring, which will mean sunsetting some live service titles. Gee, maybe live service titles isn't the way to goddamn go, and ceasing the development of certain projects.
Oh, he's getting upset. And no, live service games are not the way to go. Like, it works in some situations. It works for some games. Like, I have this feeling that Fortnite or some iteration of Fortnite will be on forever as long as games are a thing. There will be like a Fortnite. But like, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean that there have to be like a bunch of imitation Fortnites. Like, it's fine to just have a Fortnite and then a Rocket League. Like, there isn't any other game like Rocket League, and like there aren't any copycats that ever like overcame it. Tell me how Rocket Racing is. I haven't tried it yet. I'm curious. But live service games do not work. I hate Blizzard for turning Diablo into a live service game. That makes me... Wasn't it called like games as a service games? But that's even more confusing and stupid.
In his letter, Wilson states that EA is restructuring to become more streamlined. I wonder if it's going to affect his pockets. In order to deliver deeper, more connected experiences for fans everywhere that build community, shape culture, and grow fandom. I hate these boilerplate responses. I really do. I loathe them. To that end, the company will be moving away from licensed IPs and shutting down certain titles to shift its development resources. And I didn't read you all the game developers and publishers that are laying off people. That was a decent chunk, but that's not all of them. You need to let that sink in. We haven't seen a situation like this in the industry, unless I'm missing something with what I looked into, since 1983.
Okay, but whoa, because that's like actually fear-mongering, because in 1983, let me consult my notes. I don't have to, I memorized it. We went from $3.2 billion in game sales to $100 million. That's an actual crash in a market. Like, that went from faith in the market or faith in that product to oh fuck, oh no. I don't know if we can, this is about to just fall out completely. Like, come on, man. It's not like we can reference our Game Rant article. Why a second video game crash isn't happening right now. The perfect storm caused the video game crash of 1983. For comparison, several factors led to the video game crash, including saturation of home consoles, bad games led to consumer distrust, minimal publishing practices, the newness of the market, and waning interest in the console market as a result of the aforementioned saturation and rise of PCs. It doesn't seem, with as good as the indie world is doing, and with some promising news like this, that the Spyro Crash Bandicoot developer ditches Activision, Toys for Bob, the studio behind Crash Bandicoot 4 and the remastered Spyro collection, is leaving Activision, and they're becoming an indie studio, which is that's awesome. That's more of what we want. A 35-year-old game studio gets to keep on making games. Yes, that is good news. This is good news. Sources: Borderlands Studio will escape the most divisive company in gaming. Embracer bought Borderlands maker Gearbox for $1.3 billion, and it's kind of just sat in limbo for a really long time, because that's what Embracer did to a lot of the things that it bought. And now it might be sold off. But even in the current hellscape, Embracer is viewed as one of the more pernicious parasites who grew fat on low-interest financing and a post-pandemic market frenzy that allowed it to snatch up big-name studios and IPs, only to leave them all without a safety net when the big risky bets did metastasize into a business plan. Embracer CEO Lars Windfors recently called the current layoffs across his company and beyond merely something that everyone needs to get through. Wow, what an asshole. Developers at Gearbox are hoping they can get through it without the Swedish holding company hanging like an albatross around its neck. One current developer said, Gearbox won't be the only major acquisition Embracer unloads. Bloomberg reported that Saber Interactive, currently in charge of a remake of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, will be sold for $500 million. Holy shit. Oh, we might get more KOTOR, guys. Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Now, do I think we're going to have a crash like 1983? Probably not. The industry has matured a lot since then, and back then games were still, people were banking on that game. Video games were a fad, and they were going to go away, and it was like, all right, this crash is the end of them. Nintendo proved that wrong. Keep in mind, the video game crash of 1983 was mostly a United States thing. A lot of people fail to mention that, but this is not good. Now, a lot of people say things. Strauss Zelnick, the CEO of Take-Two, said that everyone was the context is there, but this is kind of what he said, that everyone was just fat and happy from the pandemic. A lot of people were staying home due to the stay-at-home orders that were put out there, so everyone was just playing video games. But no, I think it's a bigger symptom. That was a symptom. I'm sure it's part of it, but it's also companies trying to push game development in a direction that is just not goddamn working. You look at
definitely agree. Like it does seem like a lot of the groundbreaking or like innovative games that we're getting are coming from indie game studios that got a lot of money and have this appearance of AAA, even though they kind of aren't, or indie studios that are just dedicated individuals that have put a lot of passion into their projects. It seems like the stuff that we've gotten like from the legacy, you know, like game studios has been very mediocre and buggy and not finished, and I'm really sick of, and I think early access has its problems, but I'm really sick of getting a game and having to have a day one patch because the game is broken to the point that it's borderline unplayable. Cyberpunk is a really good example. People forget how bad Elden Ring was on PC at launch. Like, there were legit times where I could not see my character. And it wasn't unplayable, but it was a little difficult. It was different.
Like, they're trying to just figure out where to put the finger on the pulse to either get people to be like, yeah, these are the kind of politically correct games I want. Granted, that's like a 2% part of it. But a perfect example is Saints Row 2022. But all of these live service...
I didn't play that, but I heard it was garbage.
...games. There are exceptions, like Helldivers 2, where...
I haven't played that, but I've heard it's good. I'm considering getting it. Guys, let me know if you want me to get it and play it. 100 likes on this video and I'll get it and play it.
They just want to... Everyone's looking for like the next Fortnite, where they could just continually just make money off of one game. And that's what they're banking on. There was a time that former Unity CEO...
Yeah, and that just can't happen with every single game that comes out. Like, these studios are going to have some perspective in that, like... And Asmongold has talked about this with like the way WoW has gotten really grindy, but like people don't have time for, you know, their busy like IRL life in real life. They don't have time for like their real life stuff, and then when they're trying to escape to something else, doing like chores, like what is essentially chores, and I don't mean to like just take the words out of his mouth, but like, you don't want to have to feel like it's an obligation for you to, okay, I've got to get on and get my dailies. And like, if it's fun for you to do that, that's one thing. But if it's a requirement, that's something completely different.
John Riccatello, who used to work for EA, this is during the Battlefield 3 days, when he wanted to charge for extra bullets. He was like, hey, if you had a real gun, you'd have to go to the store and buy more bullets. Why not do it in
I mean, I get the like logic there, but that's still stupid.
a video game? This is how these people think, and then they wonder why people get pissed off and don't buy their games. So my point being is, this is how these people think. They think these live service games like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which was awful. Jay and I reviewed that. Is what's gonna...
I have heard that was bad as well.
They want to just...
Damn, I need to play more games.
Find these continual money machines, and when a lot of them don't work out, this is what happens. Is it John Riccatello that suffers? Is it Strauss Zelnick that suffers? No, these dudes don't suffer. It's the employees that suffer. It's the developers that suffer. It's the people that are making these games for their stupid ideas that they have no choice but to make those games. And then I'm sure these developers are like, this is going to suck. This is going to be awful, but I have to do it or I don't have a job. And then when that idea fails because all of the executives are greedy, who are the ones that suffer? Who are the ones? It's not Strauss Zelnick. It's not John. It's not pick another CEO. It's not, he's a nice guy, it seems like, but it's not Phil Spencer. I'm sure his pockets are just fine. Again, it's the developers and the people who make these products that make other people millions. They're the ones that are on the chopping block. So it's a mixture of people got fat, happy, and greedy during the pandemic. And on top of it, it's executives thinking that live service games are the future because everyone was trying to chase that Fortnite money. And in the end, that's not what people want. I'm sure there are many other intricacies that even industry analysts don't know about that are causing this. But here we are. There's a lot, and it was interesting. A developer talked about this too. Is like, okay, yeah, we may get jobs again. The industry may come back, and things may start expanding again, and we may dodge a crash. But who's going to be motivated? Look, games are a form of art, mostly. If people aren't motivated because they don't know if they're going to have a job the next day because the games industry is so turbulent, how are they going to be motivated to do their best work to make the best product if they don't know if they're going to get a check the next day, or if they're going to be axed?
Okay, well that's kind of dumb. Like, that's kind of a dumb comparison, because if it is art, then like true artists are gonna do it whether or not there's a paycheck attached to it, and they're also going to find ways to get that art out there in the same way that like musicians get their art out there. Like you can self-publish a lot of things. Like you don't have to, in this day and age, you could, if you were a game developer and you weren't happy with a company, you could go make an indie game on your own. And there are like, you know, you could go check out all the Thomas Brush stuff. I think I've talked about him here recently before. I think I've talked about him here recently, but like, it's not really like, if it's a job, it's a job, but if it's art, then it's kind of, I mean, it's hard to do, I would say it's hard to do art just for money anyway, without it seeming a little soulless. Like you want your artist to feel involved in the project beyond just a paycheck.
And get like a 6-month or year severance package, and then they don't know what they're going to do after that. Because think about that. But if the industry is retracting, and it could be permanently, what happens? Like, what do you do if you get a job again? Are you going to feel job security when the next group of executives try a quick cash grab? That was a tough.
Oh wow, so they're going to feel what everyone feels, and that they're semi-replaceable, so they should work that much harder at making themselves irreplaceable.
Of what to say without screwing it up. I tried. And then when the developers have to listen to the executives and it fails, who loses a job? Is it the executive? And even if they do, most of the time they have golden parachutes in their contracts, so they don't face repercussions. So to them, it's like, let's try to make absolutely as much money as possible, even if it's reckless and irresponsible. And then we don't face anything for it. And even if I get fired, they give me millions of dollars because I screwed up. Corporate America, baby. So we'll see where this.
Well, I mean, let's like, you're kind of like oversimplifying it. I mean, it's in their contract. Like, even if they fuck up, they're still, they're savvy businessmen. That was their strong suit. That's why they're running business and not like actually building the games. And so of course they've like secured themselves these like entry and exit points. They can, oh no, the project did bad, but I'm still gonna get mine. Yeah, of course they did that because they're savvy businessmen.
Ends. We'll see where all the dust settles, but right now, man, it doesn't look good. And if you enjoy gaming, even from a consumer perspective, this should concern you quite a bit, because
I mean, it kind of doesn't. It makes me more excited, like in a consumer standpoint, because now all of these people who were chained to these corporations can now let their art flow through themselves and build it on their own terms. And I think that we're going to get a lot of interesting projects out of that. And I think that they're also just, it's not all bad news. Like, a lot of companies downsized. There were some I think a lot of tech companies saw what Elon did and were like, hey, we should probably do that too. And I think a lot of tech companies just didn't have the turnaround that they expected this far after COVID. And so they wanted to kind of fudge the numbers a little bit, and they cut their staff. And it sounded like in a lot of, there were a few that cut by over half, or at least half, but like, you know, there were a lot that it was like, okay, 5%, 10%, that's not that big of a deal. It sucks for those people, but I really hope that they, you know, were offered compensation and given the ability to you know, they weren't just thrown out and completely homeless and destitute and everything. I don't think that's what happened. I think he is kind of fear-mongering here.
Games that you may want are not going to be made. Also, too, you remember that Star Wars first-person shooter that Respawn Games was working on? That would have almost definitely been amazing. Gone. I'm telling you.
Okay, but we might get KOTOR though.
Yeah, the industry is in a bad place right now, and everyone should be paying attention if you enjoy gaming. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Check out my live stream and music channels, top pin comment, top of the description, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good one.
Well, okay. That was interesting. It's unsettling. I don't know. I don't think it's that bad. He seems to think that it's the end of gaming as we know it, but why don't you tell me what you think? Thanks for watching. Bye.